Christians and Catholics out there, if you're watching this, stop pestering people to go to your church. The only reason they tell you in your congregation to get people to come to the church? To the collection basket. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's why. What? So everybody else that doesn't go to your church is unwashed and unsaved, right? Because you know that. You know how many times people have come up to me? The last time that happened was this past December, and I had to leave the event I was at because this guy was chasing me down. An old friend of my dad's, telling me I'm not safe. I thought he was joking. And then he kept following me around. I walked away. This guy, I almost hit him just because he was in my space. And I'm not a violent person. I'm not some fighter. But I had enough. And I wanted to tell this guy, in my opinion, you are so brainwashed, you can't even see past your wife's purse, who's right next to you, who dragged you to your church. Because you're not a man that has your own thoughts, and you're afraid to vocalize your own thoughts because you're afraid of pissing people off. I'm not. I love everyone, and I see the flaws in all of us. So that's why I love everyone, because we need to help each other, not scold each other and not judge each other. And oh, Jay's not a Christian. Why can't we say our opinions anymore without people just Xing you off, closing the video off, unfriending, unsubscribed? You're an idiot. Just because if you're not a Christian or a Catholic and you ask intelligent, smart questions that you should always ask if you have questions, and if something's not clicking or not making sense, it's always this bullshit of it's this bullshit of hiding behind this Bible. And ever since I was a kid, I always thought to myself, how can everyone just go in on this Bible that was inspired by other men and other human beings and then was whittled down to give you this watered down, simple version? And then King James got his hand in it and he said, no, 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 we're going to put this stuff in it. Here, now here's your Bible. Follow that. And I'm an asshole for questioning it. Or that's what it seems like. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, you probably are, because I only got about 75 subscribers. I think I pissed one off because I said Christianity might be fake. Does it mean that we can't be good and bad people? Like, can't we still be a great person and follow the ways of Jesus and not follow a religion and not have to worship Jesus and not have to worship God and not have to worship any God or just worship the earth and all the people in it, including yourself and your own health? How is that bad? How am I an asshole? Well, you don't know Jesus. You're not saved. Bullshit. And neither are you. If you're going around saying that to people, you're not saved either. Who gives you the authority to say, Jesus came to me and he spoke to me, he's going to come and speak to you? I'm not discounting Jesus never lived. I am discounting that was even his name, though. And if you dig and you do some homework and some question asking, you'll find out that you're not alone. There's many scholars that believe that that wasn't his name. And if you think of it too, it's kind of interesting. From Jerusalem, and he has a Spanish name, Jesus. Why can't we ask these questions? It has nothing to do with being a good or bad person. It has all to do with questioning the authorities that are calling every shot, that have handed you every book, that have gotten their hands in every little thing. And you're just going to pretend, people are going to pretend like this is just how it all naturally rolled out. Like God spoke to certain people and they wrote down every word. Hey, wait, what was that again? Hey, repeat it. Hang on. Ah, damn. I ran out of pen. I gotta get a new pen. All right, what was that, God? The meek shall inherit. So someone like me, I have to pretend that this is all a big fairy tale and that anything that sounds crazy is just belief. And you got to have faith. Even if it sounds like a fucking Disney story and it sounds like a made up lie, I still have to pretend that a man went into a whale's mouth and 3 days later came out. And I can't question it. I can't question that there was an ark with two of each animal and somehow we saved every single animal on that boat, and I get the same answers. God, it can do anything. God can do anything. He made it possible. I'm going to go out on a limb and respect if you believe that, that's okay. But if you're going to believe all that and still scream at everyone else that you need to go to my church and you need to be saved by Jesus, and you don't know the Bible, so you're a scum basically. That's what you're implying. That's what I have a problem with. That's what I have a problem with, because I see many more people outside of Christianity or Catholicism or anything where they want you to worship Jesus, another man, which I was always taught that Jesus said there's only one God. You worship the Father. And everyone's going to come back at me and say, it says he and I are one. That doesn't mean they're both God. And that's my interpretation. Jesus was a man, our brother, to teach us the ways of this world. That's my belief. I live my life by Jesus, but not by the Bible. But if I'm going to get shit for that, I guess that's my question. Why do I got to get shit for that? Or people like me have to get shit? Well, he's not going to be saved. He's going to go to hell because he ain't saved. Who are you to tell anyone? Who is any other man to tell another human being that they're saved or not, and that they didn't find Jesus? This stuff's been pissing me off since I was a teenager going to my dad's church. And there was a time before I moved out. This is where I knew things were just way off. This had nothing. I used to go to that church sometimes for their hour and a half power, 2 hour power worship services of people crying and, oh God, Jesus, oh thank you. What does that have to do? What does this spectacle have to do with believing in a good source of energy or a God or whatever you believe in? What does this have to do with even Jesus? All this carrying on. It looked to me, it's a cult. It is a cult, and people don't want to see that, because just because it's, oh, I'm on the good side, I'm on the Jesus side, so it's not a cult. You know, it just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that some people can't get past their own knowledge. Like they don't want to dig into what is. It's just what they think, and that everything, it's always confirmation bias. I always set out trying to question things that everyone always stands by, like this Bible. And the more and more I find holes and misinterpretations and things that just don't make sense, that's not my fault. Maybe that's God telling me this is bullshit. But hey, if you believe it and it helps you live a great life, that's fine. I have no problem with that. My problem I have is the people who claim that they're Mr. or Mrs. Bible and they go to church every week. They're the same ones looking up porn and hiding in the bathroom away from the wife. Yep. The same ones sneaking drugs and sneaking pills and maybe banging the neighbor and sneaking drinks and telling your wife, no, I didn't drink, and lying and doing all this stuff, but you got a nice shirt and tie and a nice job, and you go to your Lutheran church or your Episcopal, whatever church it is, you go to your Roman Catholic church and you're there with the family, but then you go and you do the same bullshit. And you think that nobody knows, and you think that somehow you're fooling the same God that you says is everywhere. You're going to think that he's just not in the bathroom when you're jerking off? Really? He's not in the bar waiting for you, the coke dealer on the side hiding it from your wife? God doesn't see that. God doesn't see when you're an asshole to people. God doesn't see when you're the times you could have helped someone and you walked away and pretended like you didn't see something. I'm sick of the hypocrisy. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying anyone, no man is perfect. Jesus wasn't even perfect. My dad used to say there was only one man on this earth that was perfect, and that was Jesus. I believe Jesus would tell you the same thing that I'm telling you. I'm not perfect. And I think that's what the message was. And this is my opinion. It's good and evil, guys. It's not I'm right and everyone else is evil because I do this one thing, and it doesn't work that way. I'm just telling you, it doesn't work that way. None of us really know how it works. That's the fact. No one knows a damn fucking thing in this world. I hate swearing there. No one knows a damn thing. Even the most brilliant scientists, these are all theories. These are all guesses. Because if there was a definitive God showing us, the one God creator, if he showed us himself, or I hate to say even himself, if God showed itself, I don't even know how to, I don't believe that God's has a gender to it. I don't think it's a man or a woman. It doesn't make sense to me. The God force, my opinion, is in all of us. And Jesus was trying to explain that. He was trying to explain that the kingdom of heaven is within you and all of us. And that kingdom of heaven is being free by just being a great person, by being kind to others, by turning the other cheek, by not going to jail, beating someone to death because they pissed you off before a wrestling match with an empty beer can, or not getting mad on the road rage and chasing someone down and pointing a gun at them because they looked at you the wrong way on the road. This is the stuff that's happening. This is real world. That's what he was trying to teach, just to be good to each other, to be good to yourself. To miracles he performed. I believe the miracles he performed weren't miracles the way that they teach it to us. I believe we are all capable of miracles. And what he meant by miracles, I believe he meant by miracles, is everyone has the power to think positive and to see things already done. And that energy is what makes things happen. Not an answer to God that's not asking this person that's named God and Jesus every 10 seconds for something. That doesn't make sense. And then you're going to say, oh, well, God, and then they're going to say, oh, well, God can do anything. He can listen to all our prayers at once. It's silly, guys. It's silly. It doesn't make sense and it's silly. And the way that makes sense to me seems at least semi-logical, but I don't judge. What I judge is the behavior. I judge when you're going to be an asshole. And I see you guys, because I know I'm friends and I'm family with all kinds of Catholics and Christians. I grew up in that household. In fact, when I was 18, months before I moved out of my house at 18 into an apartment. I didn't go to college. I had a full-time job and I got an apartment on my own because I was just sick of my dad's just petty laws. It was ridiculous. I stopped going to church. So he said, you don't have to go to church anymore. But when we go to church every week, you have to clean the bathroom and the kitchen. Does it sound like God to you? Does that sound even human to you? And that's my problem. And that's what I see in society. And when you start to dig back, when you get pissed off enough like me and you start to dig back and say, okay, when did this Bible start? Make some sense of this. Who's writing this Bible? Who are the people writing the Bibles? It's a mess. There's scribes, there's scholars, there's all kinds of people adding into this book. You're going to tell me that God spoke to all of them, but nobody else? Bullshit. I call bullshit. And I'm not going to live my life on a book that was put together by other men who told me that God spoke to them. I'm just not. That's just me. But instead, I'm going to follow the basic golden rule, the basic. It's easy enough for a 2 and 3-year-old to know. This stuff's not meant to be hard. It's not meant to be so technical and so compartmentalized and so ritualistic. Christmas isn't even his birthday, guys. It's not his birthday. Did you know that? It's not his birthday. It's not even close to what his birthday is. It doesn't even symbolize the birth of Christ, that date and that time of year. But I'll let you do your own homework. I'm not doing your homework for you. I don't want to tell you what to believe. But I'm telling you, whoever's listening out there, and maybe you feel the same way, I'm just burned out from this. I got Christianity. I got Christian fatigue and Catholic fatigue because it's just ridiculous. And even in the comments, there's anything that's about anything evil. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I'm not worshiping Jesus. I'm following Jesus because that's what he told me to do. He told me to follow his lead, and I'm following. The apostles followed his lead. They worship God. That's been twisted. Just so you know, that's been twisted on purpose. So, when you want to look at your beautiful Vatican and the beautiful buildings and the churches and all this, just know under that church, and look this, I encourage you to look it up. The reason I'm so passionate is because I'm angry after looking this stuff up over the last decade or so. It's a slap in the face. I was an altar boy for 9 years. I always knew there was fishy shit. I used to see stuff all the time. I can't believe nothing happened to me. I honestly think because of my size, I was 6'4" in 8th grade. I think I was so big, and I think that they didn't want to mess with me. They used to mess with the other little boys. I seen it. I mean, I don't want to hear shit. No, I seen it. I lived it. That's why I'm on here. That's why I'm talking about this. So you're going to tell me you'd rather have us children go to that place and serve as an altar boy with those priests, and that has something to do with the God wants that? Come on. So I didn't even get the coffee for this video. I think I'm going to end it here. My point is, we need to stop acting like we are in charge and like we know for sure who the creator is and what the rules to go by. Because if it was that cut and dry, we would all have the same religion. We would all be in line. We would all follow and worship this one God that we all have facts on and we all have definitive. So God just stopped coming back now. He wrote the Bible and all this stuff, and then that's it. And then the other problem I have too is you look through the Romans were fanatical apparently about their record keeping. Every little crime, petty things, disturbances, uh, f- false leaders, or what do they call it? Like David Koresh. There's no sign of Jesus being crucified on the record in the Roman records. There's no sign of it. There's no sign. There's barely any mention of. I don't even think there's any mention of actual Jesus as that name Jesus. It's described as this man causing disturbances and had followers. It's all generalized. And if you think about it, just common sense, that's how they control us. That's how they get you to go to work. That's how they get. It's all guilt driven. It's all faith and guilt driven. One day I'm going to get to heaven. One day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to get that. And that one day never comes. And you waste your whole life on something that probably doesn't exist. It probably doesn't work the way you think it does. And it pisses me off too because it's such a perfect design and a perfect lie. It's so bold and so interwoven that somebody like me sounds like a fucking asshole. It sounds like a whack job, but I can't believe I got to feel bad making a video like this. This is my opinion. If I upset you, I really didn't mean to upset you. I just want us to wake up and stop judging us. Christians and Catholics out there, if you're watching this, stop pestering people to go to your church. The only reason they tell you in your congregation to get people to come to the church? To the collection basket. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's why. What? So everybody else that doesn't go to your church is unwashed and unsaved, right? Because you know that. You know how many times people have come up to me? The last time that happened was this past December, and I had to leave the event I was at because this guy was chasing me down. An old friend of my dad's, telling me I'm not safe. I thought he was joking. And then he kept following me around. I walked away. This guy, I almost hit him just because he was in my space. And I'm not a violent person. I'm not some fighter. But I had enough. And I wanted to tell this guy, in my opinion, you are so brainwashed, you can't even see past your wife's purse, who's right next to you, who dragged you to your church. Because you're not a man that has your own thoughts and you're afraid to vocalize your own thoughts because you're afraid of pissing people off. I'm not. I love everyone, and I see the flaws in all of us. So that's why I love everyone, because we need to help each other, not scold each other and not judge each other. And oh, Jay's not a Christian. But how many times you hear I'm a great guy? I always hear it. It always comes back to me. But then the Christian people always looking at me. Oh, I don't know about him. Yeah, but guess what? I know about you, and I don't like it. I'm not gonna pray for you because praying is hoping. I'm going to see the best in your outcome in the future and hope that you can see the error in your ways and know that Jesus wouldn't be chasing me down to go to his church. Have a great evening. Bless you all. I really wish the best for you. But for the love of God, any God that you believe in, I don't care what God, stop telling people to come to church. It's fucking annoying.